Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane over at Blue Box 29. Today is April 17th. We are in week 3 of April. It is a week of the danger in the hidden and fae world. And today specifically is the loss. So today is the loss. And as you can see right over here, a big major aspect of the loss for our book is the death of the queen. So Snow White's mother, we relive that devastation, except we emphasize and we focus on the way it impacted the partner, the dad, the king. So it's a very interesting aspect, as well as who was all there, who was involved, and who was there in our story. Snow White gets to reflect on that while she is journeying through the Egyptian duat. So that is our picture for today of the loss. And moving forward with that, our theme is taken by the unseen. So things taken by the unseen. Yesterday, we saw that our topic was the price. So making these bargains and exchanges. And now today, and the cost of those. Now today, we're seeing things that are taken by the unseen and the loss itself. So we're going to see that through 4 stories today. We're going to view that through Scottish, Hawaiian, Irish, and Japanese stories. So I'll see you after these 4 stories with the loss. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Tam Lin, Love Rescued from the Otherworld. Within the rich tapestry of Scottish folklore, the Ballad of Tam Lin stands as one of the most poignant narratives exploring the fear of losing a loved one to the unseen world, embodying the theme that the hidden realm may claim what is most cherished. Originating from the Scottish borders and preserved through oral traditions before being recorded in collections, such as Francis James Child's English and Scottish popular ballads in the 19th century. The tale centers on Janet, a courageous young woman who ventures into the forbidden woods, Cutterhouse, a place believed to be under the dominion of the Fae. There she encounters Tam Lin, a mysterious knight who reveals that he was once a mortal man captured by the Queen of Fairies and bound to her service. As their bond deepens, Tam Lin warns Janet of a terrible fate. Every 7 years, the Fae must pay a teeth to hell, and he fears he will be chosen as the next sacrifice. Determined to save him, Janet undertakes a perilous rescue during the festival of Samhain, the liminal night when the veil between worlds is at its thinnest. On this night, Janet waits at the crossroads where the fairy host rides, following Tam Lin's precise instructions. When he passes, she seizes him from his horse, initiating a harrowing sequence of transformations intended to frighten her into releasing him. Tam Lin changes into a lion, a serpent, a blazing brand, and other fearsome forms. Yet Janet's unwavering resolve and love enable her to hold fast through each metamorphosis. Ultimately, he transforms into a naked man, and Janet casts her cloak around him, breaking the enchantment and restoring him to the human world. Enraged, the Queen of Fairies laments the loss of Tam Lin, declaring that had she known he would be taken from her, she would have plucked out his eyes or transformed him permanently. This chilling declaration underscores the possessive nature of the Fae realm and the real danger of losing loved ones to forces beyond human control. Symbolically, the story of Tam Lin represents the resilience of love in the face of supernatural loss, and the courage required to reclaim what has been taken by the unseen. Janet's journey challenges traditional passive portrayals of heroines, presenting her instead as an active agent of salvation, whose determination bridges the boundary between worlds. The setting of Carter House and the timing of Samhain emphasize the liminal spaces where transformation and loss occur, reinforcing the belief that interactions with the Fae carry both risk and consequence. The tale also reflects broader Celtic themes of reciprocity and sacrifice, suggesting that reclaiming what is lost often demands courage, endurance, and faith. Ultimately, the legend of Tam Lin reveals that while the unseen world may attempt to claim what is loved, human devotion and steadfastness possess the power to resist such loss. The narrative affirms that love can transcend enchantment and restore balance between realms, aligning seamlessly with the lesson that the hidden world claims what is love, while also offering hope that such losses need not be permanent when met with courage and unwavering commitment. Story 2. Hi'iakai. Story 2. Hi'iakai Separation. Devotion across the islands. Within the sacred traditions of Hawaiian mythology, the epic journey of Hi'iakai Kapoli'o Pele, the beloved sister of the volcano goddess Pele, offers a deeply moving exploration of love, duty, and the profound sorrow of separation, embodying the theme that the unseen world may claim what is most cherished. Preserved through centuries of oral chant and later recorded in written form during the 19th century, the legend recounts how Pele, captivated by the visions of the handsome chief Loau of Kauai, entrusts Hi'iaki with the perilous mission of journeying across the Hawaiian Islands to bring him back. Hi'iaki accepts the task with devotion but sets sacred conditions. Pele must protect Hi'iaki's beloved companion and guardian, Hopo, during her absence. As Hi'iaki traverses the archipelago, she encounters numerous supernatural beings, including Mo'o, lizard spirits, Kupu, shape-shifting entities, and other guardians of the land, each challenge reinforcing her spiritual strength and connection to the natural and divine realms. Her journey is not merely physical, but deeply spiritual, reflecting the Hawaiian understanding of the interconnectedness between the seen and unseen worlds. After many trials, Hi'iaki successfully finds Luia'u, who has died from longing for Pele. Through her spiritual power and deep compassion, she revives him, and together they begin the return journey to Hawaii Island. However, Pele, misinterpreting the length of Hi'iaka's absence and overcome by jealousy and suspicion, breaks her promise and destroys Hopo in a fiery eruption. The loss devastates Hi'iaki, whose grief reflects the profound emotional cost of devotion and the fragile trust between realms of love and power. In her anguish, Hi'iaki forms a bond with Lohia'u, further intensifying Pele's rage and culminating in Luia'u's death once more before eventually reconciliation restores balance among the sisters. The cycle of loss and restoration emphasizes the Hawaiian belief that transformation and harmony often emerge through suffering, forgiveness, and the reestablishment of sacred relationships. Symbolically, Hi'iaka's separation from Hopo represents the emotional toll of sacred duty and the understanding that even divine missions can demand the sacrifice of what is most dearly loved. The narrative underscores the Hawaiian concept of aloha, love and compassion, Kiliana, responsibility, and Pono, balance and righteousness, illustrating that the unseen forces guiding one's path may also require acceptance of grief and change. The islands themselves serve as living witnesses to the mythic journey, with many locations associated with Hi'iaka's travels still revered today, reinforcing the enduring cultural and spiritual significance of her story. Ultimately, the legend of Hi'iaka's separation reveals that love persists beyond loss and that devotion to one's purpose often entails profound sacrifice. While the unseen world may claim what is cherished, the story affirms that reconciliation, remembrance, and balance can restore harmony. In alignment with the lesson that the hidden world claims what is love, Hi'iaka's journey invites reflection on the resilience of love and the transformative power of grief within the sacred landscape of Hawaiian cosmology. Story 3. Fae Child Theft Tales, the children taken by the fair folk. Within the haunting landscape of Irish folklore, the belief that the ishi, or fairy folk, could steal human children and replace them with enchanted substitutes, reflects one of the most profound cultural expressions of grief and loss, embodying the theme that the hidden world claims what is most dearly loved. Rooted in ancient Celtic traditions and preserved through centuries of oral storytelling, these tales describe how the fair folk, dwelling within the Sidhe, the hollow hills and ancient mounds scattered across the Irish countryside, were believed to covet healthy human infants for their beauty, vitality, or spiritual essence. In many narratives, a child would suddenly fall ill, behave in unfamiliar ways, or exhibit an uncanny intelligence, leading families to fear that their beloved infant had been taken and replaced by a changeling, an otherworldly being left behind as part of a mysterious exchange. Protective customs emerged from these beliefs, including the placement of iron near the cradle, the constant watch of the mother or midwife, and the swift baptism of newborns to safeguard them from abduction, reflecting the community's deep desire to defend against the unseen forces thought to threaten familial bonds. These stories often recount the emotional turmoil experienced by families as they grappled with the possibility that their cherished child had been claimed by the fairy realm. In some traditions, it was believed that the stolen children lived on within the other world, treated with care yet forever separated from their human families, while in others, the changeling left behind served as a reminder of the fragile boundary between worlds. Rituals intended to reveal or reverse the exchange, such as placing the suspected changeling near the hearth or performing symbolic acts to provoke the fairy's true nature, highlight the length to which communities would go in their attempts to restore what had been lost. Although these practices are unsettling from a modern perspective, they underscore the profound grief and helplessness felt in times when illness or developmental differences could not be medically explained. Behind their historical context, these narratives function as symbolic explorations of parental fear, the vulnerability of early life, and the enduring human struggle to understand loss. Symbolically, Fae child theft tales illustrate the emotional cost of living alongside an unseen world that operates according to its own laws of reciprocity and mystery. The notion that the fair folk might claim a child emphasizes the belief that interactions with the other world are never without consequence, reinforcing the lesson that what is most cherished can be taken in ways that defy human comprehension. At a deeper level, the changeling motif reflects universal themes of identity, transformation, and the enduring bond between parent and child, suggesting that love persists even when physical presence is lost. These stories also serve as reminders of the importance of community, support, and ritual in navigating grief, offering a framework through which individuals could find meaning and resilience in the face of tragedy. Ultimately, the enduring legacy of Irish Fae child theft tales lies in their capacity to express the depth of human attachment and the sorrow of separation, affirming that while the hidden world may claim what is loved, the memory and emotional connection to those lost remain indelible. Story 4, Yuki Onna, The Sorrow of the Snow Mother. Within the evocative landscapes of Japanese folklore, the figure of Yuki Onna, often translated as a snow woman, embodies a haunting beauty and quiet sorrow associated with loss to the unseen world, perfectly aligning with the theme that what is loved may be claimed by forces beyond human reach. Emerging from oral traditions in the snowy regions of northern Japan during the Edo period, Yuki-onna is typically depicted as a pale, ethereal woman with flowing dark hair and garments as white as freshly fallen snow, appearing during winter storms to travelers who wander too far from safety, while many accounts portray her as a spirit of danger or death. Certain regional variations and later interpretations present a more nuanced and deeply emotional figure, one whose existence reflects themes of love, separation, and enduring maternal grief. In some legends, Yuki-onna forms a relationship with a human man after sparing his life during a snowstorm, living among humans under the condition that her true nature remains undisclosed. Together they build a family, often with children, and for a time she embodies warmth and domestic harmony despite her supernatural origins. However, the fragile boundary between worlds is eventually broken when her identity is revealed, either through the husband's confession or the resurfacing of her past, compelling her to return to the realm of snow and spirits. In these poignant virgins, Yuki-onna's departure is marked not by vengeance but by sorrow, as she leaves behind the children she loves, sometimes promising to watch over them from afar. This narrative reflects the emotional cost of existing between worlds and underscores the inevitability of separation when the human and supernatural intersect. Symbolically, Yuki-onna represents the ephemeral nature of beauty and the pain of love that cannot be sustained within the constraints of the mortal realm. Her associations with snow, silent, transformative, and transient, mirrors the experience of loss itself, which can arrive gently, yet leave a lasting imprint on the heart. The motif of the lost or abandoned child deepens this symbolism, illustrating how the unseen world may claim what is most cherished, not always through malice, but as part of an unavoidable cosmic balance. The legend also resonates with broader Japanese aesthetic principles such as mono no aware, the poignant awareness of impermanence, encouraging an appreciation of beauty even as it fades. Through this lens, Yuki-onna's story becomes not merely a tale of supernatural encounter, but a meditation on the enduring bonds of love that persist beyond physical separation. Culturally, Yuki-onna has been represented in literature, theater, and visual arts as both a cautionary and compassionate figure, reflecting the complexity of human emotions in the face of loss. Her presence serves as a reminder that encounters with the unseen world often carry profound emotional consequences, and the grief associated with such losses can coexist with the sense of reverence and acceptance. Ultimately, the legend of Yuki-onna reveals that while the hidden world may claim what is love, the connections formed through love and memory endure, transcending the boundaries between life and spirit. In alignment with the lesson of April 17th, her story invites reflection on the resilience of the human heart and the enduring nature of love, even when it cannot be physically held. Hey, everybody, welcome back in. Hope you enjoyed those 4 stories. Hard to kind of enjoy them when we're in the week of the danger. We're in the week of some of the darker stuff, a little bit sadder stuff. We'll get into the scarier side of things in October. We do have a few scary items coming in a couple days. I believe it's the Chase has a few really skin crawling things in it, including, the Wendigo is a main one, but we'll see the Wendigo later on as well. But regardless, our 4 stories with the lost today and taken by the unseen, our lesson is that the hidden world claims what is loved. So the hidden world claiming what is loved. Our very first story, so love rescued from the other world. So with this first one, so in this one, it was cool because Janet being told what to do, she knows the exact time and place to do it. She has to follow these directions and do, in spite of everything, in spite of the ugly that is associated with what was taken. We see her resilience and courage and bravery in going through that. The transitions and seeing your loved one morphed. We see that in our book as well. The disfigurement of people we love and the other world messing with them or manipulating them, or even our imaginations, changing what they look like. It can be devastating emotionally and psychologically. But in this one, we get to see someone that wins, someone that goes to the other, or someone that embraces the fear to get their loved one back. And so Tam Lin is rescued by Janet. And the cultural significance is that the Ballad of Tam Lin highlights themes of love, bravery, and the perilous relationship between the human and fae realms, emphasizing the belief that the unseen world can claim mortals while also celebrating the power of devotion to overcome such loss. We've seen it before where the partner outwits or is cunning to get their partner back from the other world as they're walking the crossroads with the crossroad deity, with the threshold deity. And that's respect and understanding and complete calm that's there, regardless of how chaotic it may be internally for them. They stayed there. They listened. They spoke clearly and honestly. And by doing that, they were able to get their loved ones back. And then the important note for this one specifically is that love anchored in courage can reclaim what the unseen world seeks to take, reminding us that devotion is a powerful force against even the deepest enchantments. Again, kind of highlighting that we don't always know the people that are coming after our partner, let's say. We don't always know what we're fighting against, whether it's other individuals, whether it's fate, whether it's all these different things that can happen in life. We don't know what we're fighting, but if we face it with the love and courage and the resilience, And not everything works out great, but if we face it with that, we can sure make it a lot better for us. We can give ourselves a chance, which is exactly what Janet did with Tam Lin. Our second story was Hihiaka. Hihiakai separation, devotion across the islands. So this one we've seen before, and it's two sisters with just the impatience that Pele had, destroys all of Hiiaki's land, all of that she loves, her forest, the life, the precious everything to her, right? And then, of course, she takes the man and gets the man involved, gets him devoted to where Pele destroys him as well. And then later on, they make amends and the balance is restored. The cost of that battle, the cost of that dispute between them was, I mean, immense amount of life. And it's not saying that at the drop of a hat they were fine. No, it took a long time to restore that. It took a long time for that balance to come back. But it didn't come back to what it used to be. Things were changed, lines were crossed, and I mean, sometimes we make it through things, and sometimes we make it through things, and the cost of everything that was lost along the way makes us realize that we're no longer in alignment, sometimes with the very people that we walked through all of that with. And that's something hard too, especially when it's someone like the sister, the jealousy, the impatience, the suspicion, believing her the worst out of her. And so destroying what she loved, not even giving her a full chance to come back. That's what was awful too, especially from our perspective, knowing that the sister saved this love because he had waited too long for Pele, offed himself. So it was just so much impatience along the way and giving up, giving up and not taking the initiative herself and then giving up on her sister. It was just a lot. It was a lot. But the cultural significance is the story emphasizes the Hawaiian values of devotion, responsibility, and balance, illustrating how love and sacred duty can lead to profound loss while ultimately restoring harmony within the spiritual and natural worlds. In Hawaii tradition, stories such as hihiakas are deeply sacred and tied to specific landscapes and cultural practices. They should be approached with reverence and respect for their living cultural significance. That was the important note for that one. Story 3, we saw this one yesterday as well. So the price and the loss. So we've seen how children in the past we've seen in the past how children stolen, they were the cost, right? The changelings coming in, the she's taking them. But then we are also dealing with the loss, the hole that it creates. It's not necessarily that physical being there, but the spiritual tie, the emotional tie, the psychological tie to that between the parents and the child and the community and the child, that's that's gone. And the connections that brought other people together, I mean, it leaves a bigger hole than a lot of people like to admit. And I like how in both yesterday's and today's, the story, I mean, it emphasizing that, of course, people are going to freak out if you set a baby next to a fire today. The cultures of different places, I mean, we truly don't understand them unless we've been living there for generations and generations. Like our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, they're so attuned with the land that it's not just magic. It's not just this freaky suspicion. There's actual evidence that they have that supports these claims. Hey, so with that though, the cultural significance for today's is that the Fae child theft tales provide a cultural explanation for the childhood illnesses and loss while reinforcing beliefs about the proximity of the fairy realm and the need for protective rituals and communal support. Again, just building off of that story of yesterday, the importance of community and having a tribe and being able to trust your people around you. That's what's scary about today's day and age is that it's hard to feel comfortable to trust anybody around your kids with how gross some of this stuff is around the world today. It's just crazy. And yes, it happened way back when too, but just seems like people just don't care about it anymore. Sad. The important note, though, is that these legends reflect historical attempts to understand grief and should be approached with sensitivity, recognizing both their symbolic meaning and the impact on real communities. Again, what we just said. Okay, now we have story 4, Yuki-onna. So this is the sorrow of the snow mother. Okay, so this one is a spirit, an entity that saved a man in a snowstorm. We've seen this one as well before. And all she asks is, don't ask about my past. You don't want to discuss it. Now, I've had different perspectives on this story. And I've talked with Mark about it before of, yeah, I don't believe in keeping secrets from your partner. I don't believe in, hey, just take me for completely who I am. But in the case of this story, and I mean that don't take me for completely my word. I mean, watch my actions and everything. But this story itself is, hey, I'm here now. I'm going to ask. And it's important because, I can't stay. I can't be this part in your story if we go back to my past. Okay, so we can start over. We can do everything from here on out. We can have a great story, but just don't. The past will destroy it. And we think, and it goes with, I believe, any tough discussion that we have going into a relationship where, hey, here's my boundary, here's my fine line. I'm not going to change my mind about this. Something that's crazy to me, I think, is when people get married or make long-term commitments with each other, when they disagree on hugely important things and think that their other person's going to change. Major one is the idea about kids, getting married and saying, okay, I got married knowing I don't want kids. He does, but he's going to change his mind or I'll change my mind. It's a scary thing. And this one is saying there are certain things that once that line is crossed, or once you guys have created that line and one of you chooses to step over it or to change your mind and just expect the other person to go along with it or change theirs to complement yours, it's not always going to come out like we want or how we plan. And so we see in this one that the trust is broken. Hey, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. For whatever reason, he brought it back up and her identity is exposed and she had to leave. Sometimes that's just what happens is the discussion happens and there's no other choice but to leave because no, that's where I stand and that's where she stood. I mean, being in between the worlds and yeah. But the Yuki-onna symbolizes the intersection of beauty, impermanence, and emotional loss, reflecting Japanese cultural themes of transience and the enduring bonds of love beyond physical separation. And then the important note is that love may be taken from our presence, but it is never taken from our memory. What is truly cherished continues to exist beyond the boundaries of the seen and unseen worlds. With all 4 of those stories today, our daily thread is that Tam Lin rides the Fae path, nearly claimed by the unseen. Iaka returns to find devotion answered with heartbreaking absence. Fae hands steal children into the quiet hills of Ireland. Yuki-onna fades into the snow, leaving love behind. Each tale echoes the sorrow of what cannot be kept, and each loss reveals the fragile boundary between worlds. Love endures even when presence is taken, and what is claimed by the unseen is never lost to the heart. So with all 4 of those stories today with the loss and our theme is taken by the unseen, we had some happy endings and we had some not so happy endings. We had some that were resolved and had closure one way or the other, and some that there isn't any closure. It's just confusion and just the loss itself. The lesson was that the hidden world claims what is loved, and our question of the day is, what do I fear losing? What is it that I fear losing? Mark and I have mentioned it a couple times in the show and with other people, with each other, that the idea of, yeah, there are terrible things that happen in this world. One thing that helps me get through any sort of loss or death in particular is a quote that we heard in something a while back that says, you can't believe in heaven. The person was talking about her own loss, her own grief. And she said, I can't believe in heaven and then be upset when someone goes. I can't remember if it's from like Young Sheldon or something, but I just thought that that was beautiful. No, that doesn't mean that the pain is all of a sudden gone, but it just helps give a little bit of peace. But today we're going to think about, what do I fear losing? And then our activity is that we're going to whisper one name that we cherish, letting it rest in the air. So we're going to whisper one name out loud, someone we truly cherish, and let it just rest in the air. And then the final thought today is, hold what you love with reverence rather than grasping. So hold what you love with reverence rather than grasping it. And with all of that, that's all I have for you guys today on April 17th. Go check out our book, The Pilgrimage, Snow White's Duat. Make sure you like and subscribe. An immense help, and I greatly appreciate it. Comment your thoughts. Comment your favorite story, your favorite question or theme that we've had so far. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow on April 18th. Bye.